These are the Sony WH-1000XM4, a true staple of wireless headphones history. Although these are over 5 years old, many prefer them over Sony's successor, the XM5, claiming they are still the best value for the money today, especially considering that you can snag them for under $200 on sale. These are the Sony WH-1000XM6, Sony's latest and greatest and most expensive headphones to date at a whopping $449. They bring back some fan favorite features from the XM4, such as the ability to fold up, but do they do enough things new to win over diehard enthusiasts and convince them to finally upgrade? Let's break it all down. First up is design and comfort. Now, Sony clearly listened to the feedback here. The XM6 brings back the beloved foldable design from the XM4, ditching the lay flat only design that was the XM5, so they are compact and can fold up nicely into their travel case. Looking at the travel cases, we can see that the XM4 is still a little bit smaller. The XM4 case also closes with a zipper along the outside. It also has this little net pouch on the outside, but I wouldn't really trust storing anything important in there. The XM6 case features a magnetic lock on the side, ditching the zipper altogether, and on the inside you got a nice little pouch here to store your cables. Holding both of these headphones in hand though, I can't help but think the XM6 is a victim of enshittification. For instance, looking at the XM4, they have this nice raised engraved logo on each side, whereas with the XM6, the Sony logo is just painted on. Additionally, the XM4 just kind of spoiled you with this nice thick plush padding on the ear cups and really plush padding along the top headband there too. The XM4s are generally comfortable to wear for hours. Even after 5 years of owning these, the padding is still plush, ample, and comfortable. For the XM6, the padding is thinner, you get shallower ear cups, you get hardly any padding at all along the top headband, and the sour cherry on top is that the ANC microphone inside the ear cup actually sticks out through the mesh, and it can poke into your ears if your ears are larger or if the fit isn't perfect. But the XM6 does slightly win on usability. The redesigned buttons are much easier to find while wearing the headphones. Both headphones also use touch and swipe controls, but the XM6 adds head gestures, things like shaking and nodding to control your playback. Not really my thing, but hey, maybe you like it. There's no ingress protection on either headphones, so you want to keep them out of the rain, and neither are really suited for sweaty workouts. So who's the winner here? I'd say the XM4 takes it purely on comfort alone. Connectivity is where the XM6 really flexes its new tech. It's got Bluetooth 5.3 versus the XM4's older Bluetooth 5.0, plus it has LC3 codec support alongside all the usual suspects. The XM6 even throws in Auracast support for connecting to local broadcasts, things like airport announcements, when that becomes a thing as it starts to roll out. Both support Bluetooth multipoint, but you won't be able to use the higher quality LDAC codec when you use that feature. You're going to be stuck with AAC when connected to 2 or more devices. Neither has USB-C audio pass-through, which is becoming standard on flagship headphones in 2025. That means no wired listening unless you have a 3.5mm cable, and yes, they both have a headphone jack. So even though the XM6 wins on paper here, both are missing some key future-proofing features that competitors already have. Both headphones use Sony's Sound Connect app, and the feature lists are pretty similar. The XM6 ups the game with a 10-band custom equalizer versus the XM4's more basic 6-band slider. You get the usual adaptive sound control and speak to chat on both. The XM6 also brings some genuinely useful new tricks, AI-powered call handling, and better spatial audio processing. Plus DSEE Extreme, which uses AI to upscale compressed music files in real time to make them sound more closer to high-resolution audio. The XM6 also adds a volume limiter feature, which the XM4 lacked, which can help preserve your hearing over the course of your lifetime. So in terms of app features, this is going to be a win for the XM6. Battery life, another win for the XM6 because this one's not even close. The XM6 absolutely destroys the XM4 here. We're talking 37 hours and 14 minutes of actual tested battery life versus the XM4's disappointing 20 hours, which was really nowhere near Sony's claimed 30 hours. Both do fast charging, but when you're getting nearly double the battery life on the XM6, that becomes a game changer for travel. The XM6 simply just wins on battery life by a landslide. The XM6 utilizes Sony's new AI-powered 6-mic array, which does outperform the XM4's basic setup. The XM6 has clear voice quality, excellent background noise rejection, and handles wind adequately. The XM4's mic is fine for the occasional call, but it lacks some of the detail and struggles in noisy environments. The XM6 is the better choice if you take calls regularly, especially if you're out and about on the go, but we encourage you to check out our sample recordings for yourself on our website. Here's where both headphones remind you why Sony dominates the space. Both headphones deliver over an average 80% noise reduction, 87% for the XM6, and 84% average for the XM4, putting them both among the absolute best ANC headphones you can buy. The XM6 has Sony's newer Q3 chip and benefits from stronger passive isolation, which overall does a much better job of attenuating high-pitched noises, things like clattering dishes or the chatter at a coffee shop, much better attenuating high-pitched noise than the XM4s do. But both headphones actually do a comparable job of canceling out low-frequency noise, things like airplane engines or a bus rumble. So if you're worried about those kind of noises, really, I think you'll be thrilled with the ANC on either headphone. The XM6 has a slight technical edge, but if you're someone that wears glasses, the thinner padding might be an issue breaking that seal around your ears. Otherwise, I'm going to call this one essentially a tie. All right, now sound quality. This is the good stuff. This is what everyone's waiting for. Now, the XM6 is measurably Sony's best sounding headphones to date. Probably the best sounding headphones that they produced in the WH-1000XM line. Both headphones do display some bass emphasis when compared to our preference curve, but the XM6 keeps it a little more controlled, where I think the XM4 can get a little boomy in that 100 to 200 hertz range with some noticeable reverb. Looking at our measurements, the XM6 scored an impressive 4.8 overall in our MDAX testing. The XM4s, well, they got a respectable but clearly trailing 4 out of 5 overall. So what does that mean? Well, going by the 200-person sample size of that simulated panel of untrained listeners, most people will likely prefer the sound of the XM6 more. The XM4s also have some pretty high treble peaks that can make cymbals sound shrill during long sessions, whereas I didn't find the XM6 to have that same harshness. In simple terms, the XM6 sound more natural out of the box, and you probably won't find yourself having to tweak the EQ all that much. In short, if sound quality matters to you, as probably does since you're here watching this video, the XM6 is more likely to please. So let's talk price value and which one should you buy. Well, again, there's a pretty big price gap between these two headphones. The XM6 costs a whopping $449, while you can snag the XM4 for under $200 on sale, sometimes even cheaper than that if you find them used or refurbished. So we're talking more than double the price, a $200 price difference between these two. I'd say if you want the absolute best that Sony has to offer, the XM6 does justify the premium price. You get significantly better battery life, cleaner sound, vastly superior microphones, and more modern features. But if you're a budget-conscious consumer, again, we're talking a $250 price gap, and you don't care about all the fancy features, and you just want killer ANC without breaking the bank, well, the XM4 still remains excellent value. The ANC is nearly just as good, the sound is solid with some EQing, and you're getting significantly more comfortable ear cups and a comfortable headband, and saving some serious cash. Looking forward though, neither headphone is perfectly future-proof, both miss key connectivity features like USB-C audio, but if you just need excellent ANC headphones that work great today, either choice is bound to make you happy. If you want to see how the Sony XM6 stacks up against the current competition, you can see how they compare against the Bose QuietComfort Ultra headphones right over here, or how they compare to the AirPods Max right over there.